Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The beautiful game can make you feel every emotion in 90 minutes. Excitement, pain, joy, anxiousness, relief. But scoring a goal is the highest high. And there are some players that are pretty good at it. Here is our fact hunter Neil with 10 facts about Premier League goal scorers. Oh, your shit.
Thank you very much, Pav. That wonderful opening. So what... he's thrown me. So what I've got for you guys is a match played on 24th of October last year. The top Premier League goal scorers. So I start at number 10, and it's Michael Owen with 150 goals, 326 appearances from 1994 to 2013. And then we've got Jermaine Defoe at 162 goals, 496 appearances from 2001 to 2018. And then at number 8, we've got Robbie Fowler at 163 goals with 379 appearances from 1993 to 2008. At number 7, we got Harry Kane at 167 goals, 254 appearances from 2012 to the present day. And then at number 6, we've got Thierry Henry with 175 goals, 258 appearances from 1999 to 2005. And then at number 5, we've got Frank Lampard with 177 goals from 609 appearances from 1996 to 2015.
Goal!
And then Sergio Aguero at number 4 with 184 goals, 275 appearances from 2011 to 2021.
Twat! That was liquid football!
At number 3, we've got Andy Cole, or Andrew Cole as he wanted to be known as, at 187 goals, 414 appearances from 1993 to 2008.
Goal!
And at number 2, we got Wayne Rooney with 208 goals, 491 appearances from 2002 to 2018.
Goal!
And at number 1, we've all guessed it, is Alan Shearer, 260 goals, 441 appearances from 1992 to 2006.
Shit! Did you see that?
Well, there we go.
Can we just not watch? Can we just watch that sketch on repeat?
Yes.
So good.
Well, what I'm going to do is for YouTube, everybody, I'm going to superimpose Neil's head like Alan Partridge's is when it says goal, and especially when it said twat. I'm going to love that. So here we are. Happy New Year, everyone. It's a fresh new year. It's 2022. And, we're here talking football with the one and only Neil. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Pav.
And we're also here with the one and only, our best friend in the world. It's the lovely Josh from Just Films and That podcast. How you doing, Josh?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. Excited for a new year, old lang syne and all that. Except we didn't forget old acquaintances because we're here.
Indeed. Did you have a lovely Christmas?
I did. Did you both?
Yes, I got everything I wanted. I won the lottery.
Yeah.
I got that Ferrari Testarossa that I've been waiting for.
It's a nightmare to package that.
It is a life-size Millennium Falcon. I got everything I wanted. It was amazing.
Oh, bless you. Well done, Pav. I just got my stockings full.
I bet you did, Neil. I bet you did.
That was it.
Right, so we are here to talk about the top 10 Premier League goal scorers. Now, just in that, it doesn't have to be a striker. It can be anybody that has scored some goals. I'm going to have my cards firmly on the table here. I am a Liverpool supporter. So there are no Manchester United players in my top 10. I'm just going to say that now because for some reason, my brain wouldn't let my hand write their names on a bit of paper. So, I can't. I'm not going to apologize.
It's like liar, liar. You're trying to write Wayne Rooney. You're like, Wayne!
I couldn't do it. I couldn't even type it in on my phone. It wouldn't let me do it. So that's a proviso on my top 10 is that you won't find any United players on there. Josh, you're resplendent there in your Blackburn shirt.
Yes, and there's no Burnley players in my top 10, but that's mainly because they're not famous for scoring many goals. I think Chris Wood on his day is a good striker. I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm not going to argue with him because he's about 6'5". So
exactly.
Yes, I am a Blackburn fan for my sins. Yes,
but I mean, look, the Premier League. One of the things you can say about Blackburn is that all of that squad have won a Premier League. Steven Gerrard has never won a Premier League.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
That's a positive. That's a positive.
He's won a lot. He's done a lot more than that, though, hasn't he? Let's be honest. I mean, he's an absolute legend. Is Gerrard?
I suppose. So, what criteria did you have for choosing your top 10?
So this was so difficult. The last time I was on with Alice was Movie Monsters, and that was much easier. And despite the fact that you've got over 100 years of films to pick from, and this is like 30 years of football. But anyway, when you first sent it to me, I thought it was Premier League strikers. So I did that and was happy with my list. Then sent you a message saying it was goal scorers, wasn't it? And you were like, yes. So I was like, shit.
Yeah.
so I had to redo it. So obviously, in theory, people should say, well, the top 10 are the top 10 that Neil just read out. That's the top 10 because they're all the top 10 goal scorers. I've just gone with whom I like, who I liked as a player. There are people in there who I imagine, and we'll come on to it, that there are players on this list that must be in all three of our lists.
So.
But yeah, so, and I've got something like 20 honorable mentions.
Oh, have you?
There's a list of people I was like, and then I found myself, because I'm off my day job this week, just off doing, off stuff. And I've been trying to do the list, and I was like, I can't not have him in. I can't not. But he was so good. But and in the end, I just went, you know what? I'm just going to pick who I like.
Yeah. That's what I did.
It's not 10 Blackburn players or anything like that. But that's what I've gone for. Who did I like?
Right.
Yeah, I did. Oh, sorry. I was going to say I did it.
Go on. For fuck's sake, Neil, talk.
I was going to say I did it on the fact that it was players that I remembered that I thought played for other teams, but I would quite like them in my team.
Yeah.
That's how I worked.
Yeah. I was discussing it with a friend when I was prepping it as well, and they sort of said, "Oh, well, what about this player?" And I went, "Oh no, he's not in mine," even though it was one of the top 10 that Neil just said. And I just said, I just don't have any memories of him particularly scoring.
Right.
I mean, so I was born in 1990. I've always remembered the Premier League. I'm not really don't really remember football before the Premier League. I'm not one of those people who thinks that football just existed. From the Premier League onwards, but all my memories are of the Premier League. But looking at my list, there's a real mix of years, but I do think there's probably the main bulk of my formative years. So probably not a lot of like early players in there. There's definitely one or two, but yeah, and there's not actually that many current either. Looking at it, So yeah, that's how I've done mine.
Okay. Well, just to let you know, Josh, I think when you came on with Alice to do the movie Monsters, what we do now is if you happen to have one that's the same as us, state that you've got it, and then we can talk about it all at the same time. Unless it's your number one. Keep that let's do that. Yeah, absolutely.
So
let's go with your number 10 then, Josh.
So number 10. I just wanted him in there, right? And I'd be very surprised if this chap is on either of your lists. Number 10, I've put Yakubu.
Wow.
Right? Because he was unbelievable for the season or two he played for us. I think he's one of a handful of players that scored 4 in a game more than once. One for us and I think one for Portsmouth. And he was just an absolute, I don't know, he's a monster of a player. He was just scoring goals. he helped get that chicken off the pitch that time when someone put a chicken on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I'm under no illusions that he wasn't, I wouldn't even say he's a world-class player, but I just loved him. I just remember really enjoying that season he was there, because even though I think we went down shortly after, he was still I think he was in the top 3 or 4 goal scorers. It was like Van Persie, Aguero, and Yakubu or something like that, which is insane, because a lot of clubs couldn't get the best out of him. He was at Everton. He was, he's okay. He's probably the best at Everton for the longest period. Amazing for us for 2 seasons. And then I can't really remember him doing that well for Portsmouth and Middlesbrough and places like that. So I just wanted to put him in there, to be honest.
It's weird, isn't it? Because he's one of those names that is synonymous with early Premier League.
Yeah.
But I honestly can't picture his face. I can't picture what he looks like.
Yeah.
It's really, really strange. He's like Benjani. You remember Benjani?
Yeah.
That sort of player that you think,
Yeah.
oh my God, you remember that name?
Yeah, Benjani. Gosh, Benjani.
God, dear me.
Joe.
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 It was, yeah. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people bought his shirt just because it was cheap to be able to have his name on the back. It was just 2 letters.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, I'm so glad we never signed Jan Vennegoor of Hesseling.
Exactly.
That was that's a £100 job, that, isn't it?
You'll have Joe and you'll like it.
I live in Liverpool. The amount of people who've just got Trent instead of Alexander Arnold.
Yes.
Because it's it must be so expensive to get Alexander Arnold on the back of your shirt.
It's got to be. Oh my goodness, imagine. Right then, Neil, you're number 10.
Okay, this pained me to put it in the number 10, but I did appreciate him as a player overall, and it's Thierry Henry.
Right, he's my number 2.
Yeah, he is my number 2 as well.
He would have been higher, but for obvious reasons, I just couldn't. At least I was brave enough to put him in my list.
Yeah.
But no, I did admire his football. He was again, as I said, it's a player that I would have liked in my team, and I feel we should have signed him way before that other thing signed him.
He was unbelievable.
He was one of those players that made the game look stupidly easy.
Yeah.
The one thing I would never put him at number 1 is the handball that he did for France against was it Republic of Ireland?
It was. It meant they didn't get into the World Cup, didn't it?
Yeah, and it cements my thought that every professional footballer is a fucking cheat. I don't care. I don't care whether that's a gentlemanly thing to say, but you see it in the modern game now. And this I'm sure this podcast is going to end up being an old man moaning about football.
So is that your sort of, so obviously there's a few different schools of thought with what is cheating, because a lot of people don't like diving, don't like certain things in the game. So are you both sort of absolutely not, that brings the game into disrepute, or are you sort of more of the sensibility of, well, some things are necessary and win at all costs sort of thing?
No, and the thing is, I mean, I disrespect Michael Owen for a lot of things, like joining Manchester United and then trying to be an ambassador of Liverpool just doesn't wash for me. But when he says, if I'm in the penalty area and I feel a touch, I'm going to go down, just tells me everything that's wrong with the modern day footballer. And it isn't even modern day. I can't remember what program it was. It must have been a Sky program where they're showing highlights. I think it was Man United versus Newcastle from '95, I think it was. And players were going in. You had Warren Barton on one side, you had David Batty on one side, you had Roy Keane smashing into each other for 90 minutes, and all they did is get up and carry on. There was none of this rolling around. And again, this is like old fart moaning about modern day football. But that's all they do. You know? Did you see the footage? I can't remember what league it was in.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Was it the South American?
You're the Uruguayan guy and the ref taps him.
The ref taps him and he falls over the player. Unbelievable. But it's just how it is. But and I say, I've got a lot of respect for Thierry Henry. I think he's a fantastic player. But that's the one chicken bone in the throat that gets me with him. It's just the blatantness of it, and the fact he knew what he'd done and got away with it. He got away with it, And didn't France win the World Cup that year?
They did that year. I'm pretty sure they did.
Unbelievable.
They either won it or got to the final. It might have been the Zidane headbutt final. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's a point. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, all right. My number 10 will warm the cockles of Neil's heart. It's Jurgen Klinsmann.
Oh, he's my number 5.
Number 5. I can remember.
Mine.
Right. Okay. It was I've got here that it was 94, 95, and then 98, 99 that he joined.
That's it.
He came to Tottenham with so much baggage because he was the guy that always dives. You know, he was a cheat. And then he scored on his debut, I think, didn't he?
He did.
And went for the corner and did this massive dive. And I fell in love with him from then. I thought this is a guy that is he's not like what everyone thinks he is, as this like snooty German. He's someone that can laugh at himself. And that how you never won anything in those times, Neil, with that team that you had, Anderson, Sheringham.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of what was going on behind the scenes. You know, especially when Venables was there and all of that, and we got Alan Sugar, and we can all go into everything. A spoonful of sugar helps the Venables go down, that sort of thing. We had all those problems, and I think that royally fucked us up for those years, because we had the players that really should have been doing a lot better than we were. Yeah. So they completely.
Yeah, he had an amazing front line, but I loved him. I think wasn't it his second or third game he got his face smashed in, didn't he?
That's it. And he wore he was a breath of fresh air for the Premier League. He was a great team player. He brought a lot of morale back into the squad as well when he was there. I mean, you sort of almost saw where his managerial skills were starting and obviously where they are now. And the way that he brought the camaraderie back into the team was fantastic. And like you said, we had a strong squad and we shouldn't have been where we were, and he did pick us up a bit more. So I just got a lot of love for that man.
Yeah.
A lot of love.
Didn't he play for Everton? Danny camaraderie.
Thank
you very much. Thank you. Right then.
Unbelievable, Jeff.
Hang on. Right.
Go!
Okay, right, Josh, you're number 9.
So my number 9 is Jamie Vardy.
Ooh.
Because I just feel he's scored an unbelievable amount of goals in quite a short space of time. I don't think he's in the top 10, is he? But he has scored a lot of goals. I just think there's a hell of a story to Vardy. First of all, he is the biggest shithouse in the game. Like, he loves it, doesn't he? He loves winding the fans up, cup in his hand to his ear, all that. And there's something about someone making themselves such a villain, which I sort of admire a little bit in a weird way. He is absolutely lethal. He does not care about anything. You know, was it before Christmas? He scored against Watford and went and celebrated in front of Ranieri, who he won the league with, and all that. And obviously, it's an unbelievable story as well. You know, to come from non-league, working part-time, playing part-time, to being one of the leading scorers for quite a few seasons now. I admire him. He's definitely the sort of guy, though, that like if he turned round at the bar and bumped into you and spilt his beer on you, you'd buy him another pint because he'd definitely he'd glass you.
Yeah.
You'd be getting him another vodka and a Skittles or whatever it is that he drinks. But so Jamie Vardy's my number 9.
Yeah, he was. Klinsmann knocked him out of my top 10. I have to admit.
Did he?
Yeah,
I was going to say I watched an interview with him, and I have to say my respect for him went up a bit more when he literally admitted that he took nothing for granted in his career because of how hard he had to work going up the non-league and everything. Yeah, and he came across really well on that interview. My opinion of him changed. I always thought he was a little bit of a toe rag.
Yeah, but he's supposed to. They're making a film of him, aren't they? Of his life, apparently.
Well, that's been sort of going since the. I suppose the other thing I didn't even mention there is that amazing Leicester season where I know you probably won't thank me, Neil, because it was Tottenham fans that lost out. But that season was just for a neutral who didn't support either team. I think for pretty much everyone except Spurs fans, that season was unbelievable. Yeah, and you know,
I mean, even though as a Spurs fan, I admire it. You can't not, can you?
That's the one thing about you, Neil. I don't understand how you can be so calm on those kind of things. I've sat in the room with you when Liverpool beat Tottenham at the European Cup final. Yeah, and you just did that. You just shrugged. I'd go fucking mental. I'd be so bad. I mean, I
guess though, like to come to Neil's defense, it never finishes, does it?
No.
So there's just always another season. It's it's like if they make it, like, I know Doctor jumps onto another topic. It's like if they make a Batman film and it's shit. Don't worry about it. In 5 years there'll be another Batman film.
Exactly,
so they'll just keep making them.
Exactly.
You know.
That is true.
I mean, I've been disappointed
appreciate
that many times supporting Tottenham. It's not going to be. I can't take anymore. I'm full.
So
that's why the
do you have like a best memory of being a Tottenham fan?
Oh Christ, we're going right back into the 80s now.
The last trophy Rovers won actually was against Tottenham.
Was it?
It was the Worthington Cup final, which is now, I don't know, the Milk Cup, the Carling.
Yeah,
Cup,
whichever one.
Carabao.
That's it. Yeah, so that we won, and I think Hoddle was managing you at the time.
Yeah, so that was the last cup we won actually. So what? 2008, I think.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, Jonathan Woodgate, wasn't it?
Yeah, so when you had when you had Modric and stuff in the team.
That's just they'd not long been there. Yeah, it was good.
What a player.
There you go. Right, then, Neil, you're number 9.
I've got Steven Gerrard at number 9.
Oh, he's my number 6
with 120 goals that he scored. But yeah, he's always somebody that I would really want in my team when he was playing. I used to watch him, and I've always had a little soft spot for Liverpool because it seems to be every one of my friends is a Liverpool fan. Not any of them are nothing, but a Liverpool fan.
Well, you've only got 2 friends, Neil, to be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I've got other friends, but I'm not going to call them friends because they support Arsenal. So I'm not.
Oh, right. Okay.
He's in my list as well. He's my number 5.
He's number 5. Right. So, okay.
Yeah.
But he was just one of those players that, well, you knew he was Liverpool through and through and was never going to really leave. But
he very nearly did, though. He very nearly went to Chelsea that one year.
He did, didn't he? Money was nearly the sway, wasn't it?
And I mean, I always think to myself, it's like those moments, those sliding doors moments, like what would have happened to Chelsea. Well, I mean, I don't think anything different would have happened to Chelsea, but it could have absolutely
crippled Liverpool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the whole team was built around. It's like one of my favorite one of those sliding doors moments. There's 2 Rovers ones. We almost got Zidane, and we almost got Lewandowski. So we almost got Zidane after we won the league. Dalglish went to Jack Walker, who's the owner, and said, "I really need to strengthen the squad to compete in Europe. I've seen this young lad at Bordeaux, Zinedine Zidane. Going to go sign him. He'd be cheap." Jack Walker said, "Why would you want Zinedine Zidane when you've got Tim Sherwood?"
Yay!
And the other one was we had all but done a deal for Lewandowski, and then that fucking Icelandic ash cloud, the ash cloud from 10 years ago, stopped him flying over, and he went somewhere else instead, Dortmund or wherever it was he went. So it's crazy, funny, but I mean, Gerrard was unbelievable, wasn't he? I mean, so I will put my cards on the table and say that Lampard was in my list. And I couldn't, and I was thinking about saying I'll put them in together at the same entry, just so that they're together even in this as well. But for me, Gerrard pips it because he made bad teams or average teams better. Whereas Lampard, I don't know if he ever really played in an average team. Even when he was older and he went to City, he was still in a good team.
Yeah.
But Gerrard, he dragged some of those awful Liverpool squads through some unbelievable games, like the AC Milan final. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I still look at that squad now and think, how did we win that game? How did we get to the final? Let alone how did we win that game? But Gerrard was there, that was orchestrating it all. And he is one of the. It's great that he's like a one club player in playing, but he's also one of those people that you sort of. It seems like he's being tailored to become Liverpool manager sooner or later. But will that ruin his legacy if he does that? One of the saddest things I've ever seen was when Dalglish came back after Hodgson, and then he got sacked. And it was one of the worst things to see that yellow ticker on Sky saying Kenny Dalglish sacked as Liverpool manager. It's because he is the king.
Yeah.
And for someone like Gerrard, if he isn't successful, does it ruin the whole?
I mean, if I was Gerrard, I wouldn't go back.
No,
and that's not. I just, like you say, leave it as it is. It's fine. But if you are Steven Gerrard, Liverpool through and through, someone offers you the Liverpool job, you've not really got a choice, have you?
Of course, it's the same as Solskjaer.
It's exactly that.
You've got to do it. You've got to do it. Right, my number 9. It seems like my top 10 is all about Tottenham. Is Harry Kane. Oh, Neil, you've not got him in your top 10?
Maybe.
He is not in mine.
Okay.
I can say he's not in
yours.
Mine.
Okay. No. Now, the thing is, I thought about Harry Kane a lot because there's parts of me that just doesn't like Harry Kane. And I was
which parts?
Well, I mean, the slick back hair, for one thing. The way he talks, but that's getting a bit personal now. But I was trying to think, right, what is a great Harry Kane goal? And I couldn't think of one. I couldn't think. Now, again, I'm not a Tottenham fan, so I don't look at Tottenham clips like I look at Liverpool clips. You know, I could tell you what the top 10 Steven Gerrard goals were. You know what I mean? Because I live and breathe watching Liverpool stuff like every day, whereas with Tottenham I don't. But you can't deny the fact that he is a fantastic goal scorer, which is what we're doing. How much of that is because of the players that he plays with? How much of that is natural talent? I know that he's worked very, very hard. He's done what you're supposed to do in football, gone on loan to, you know, places that no other people would want to spend a wet Tuesday night. And he's done his apprenticeship. He's done all that. And he's come out England. He's going to be England's top goal scorer. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, it's not going to be long, is it?
Probably the next round of games, isn't it?
Yeah,
Depends,
more than
depends on
likely.
who they play. But
More than likely.
have you ever seen that picture of him and Vardy?
No.
Tim and Vardy sat on the bench when Leicester were in the Championship.
Oh, really?
Watching it. They might be watching that famous Leicester-Watford Championship playoff final. You know, the one that was like really really late goal at the end where
right.
Troy Deeney. But yeah, him and Vardy sat on the bench watching the game. It's quite funny considering that they're both, you know, considered to be two of the best strikers in the league. He isn't on my list, but I guess I just don't have that much affection for him. But I do think he's an unbelievable striker. I do think he's really, really good. Yeah. He comes across. I thought he came across quite well in the documentary. All or nothing.
All or nothing. Yeah.
I thought he came across quite well in that. I don't know if he's necessarily a captain though.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't quite know why he is England captain when I think there's people that could do it better than him.
Well, he's not regularly a Tottenham captain anymore. It's usually Lloris,
isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, Neil sort of answered a question that's going to be interesting at the end. Okay. Josh, you're number 8.
So my number 8 is, and you're not going to like this, Pav, Paul Scholes.
My number 6, just to let you know.
Yeah. Well, he won't be in yours, will he, Pav? Because there's
no, I didn't even think about him, to be perfectly honest.
He was, you know, there's the famous quote, isn't there, from, was it Figo or Zidane? One journalist said to him, what's it like to be the best midfielder in the world? And he said, don't know, ask Paul Scholes when he was at Man United. Scholes, his passing range, some of the goals he scored, he was just quality. For someone who didn't look like he really even cared about football.
Yeah.
Again, if you watch Class of 92, the Man United documentary, in that they all talk about how he'd like train or he'd want to play, and then he'd just go back to his mum and dad's house and eat wine gums and play on his PlayStation. Like someone who was like playing football after school. He made it look easy, you know.
He was 35 at the time.
And for him to be on my list when he must be the worst tackler that the Premier League has ever seen. Says something about how high they rate him in other departments.
Everybody winced when he went in for a tackle, didn't they? Everybody, even when he was with England. But his vision, he had such vision for passing. I think so. And again, another player that I would have loved to have seen in my squad rather than United. It would never have happened because he was a United boy through and through, wasn't he? But yeah, his vision and some of those goals are spectacular. You can't take it away from him.
There isn't anybody, there's very few people that can strike the ball as sweetly as Paul Scholes. But he plays for United, so yeah, he wouldn't be in that.
But like Josh said, though, he made it look effortless. It made it look like he really didn't try, and it was. Yeah, he obviously was very, very talented. But yeah.
Okay, all right. So Neil, then you're number 8.
That's Gareth Bale.
Oh,
I've put him in there because when he first joined Tottenham, you know, Harry brought him over, and he was useless. Every Premier League game he started, we lost.
Was it a curse or something? There was like a curse about it.
It was. There was
every time he started, you lost. It's like the Aaron Ramsey thing, isn't it? Like every time he scores, a celebrity dies.
And then he was slowly.
Have you heard that before? No. For a period, every time Aaron Ramsey scored, a celebrity died. So he scored. Amy Winehouse died. He scored. Whitney Houston died. It was one of them.
Christ,
Christ.
So, I think it's been proven to be wrong now. It depends how far down you want to go on celebrity, doesn't it?
Right.
He's supposed to be coming back to Newcastle, isn't he? Apparently, I bet Adele's shitting herself.
Yeah.
But he's been punditing last year and into the Christmas. Have you seen his punditry? You know, where he sits on there
Bale or
got
Ramsey,
the
sorry.
charisma of a jelly. He is
Bale or
Ramsey.
Oh, Ramsey, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's just lacking any charisma with the other guys that are on there.
Yeah, he's a
But
little
anyway,
bit-
let me
he's a
not
bit
slag off
beige,
him.
isn't
He is. So yeah, Gareth Bale. So we went through all that awful period, and then it was Redknapp that nurtured and everything, and then he came out kicking and screaming. I remember the Inter Milan game that it was him against them, really, wasn't it?
he? Yeah.
And he was, and I still think he is one of the most technically sort of talented players. I mean, some of the angles that he shot and scored from, you'd think never before.
I remember watching that game in the pub in Liverpool whilst I was at uni, and Liverpool fans were cheering because it was just like so. Perhaps why I follow quite a bit of sort of European football and stuff because I quite like learning about it and stuff like that. And apparently, Maicon never recovered from that game.
Really?
Like apparently, and I don't mean like he sits rocking back and forward. I'm sure he still, I'm sure he still earned hundreds of thousands of dollars, pounds, euros a week or whatever. But apparently, the player he was before that game never really came back after Bale because he skinned him like 3 times. There was the time when he knocked it round him, ran off the pitch.
Yeah,
that's like a cheat. That's like that's like being one of the corner robots in Robot Wars. It's like it's not fair.
He did the same thing. He did the same thing for Real Madrid, didn't he? I think it was against Barcelona in a cup game. Cup time. Right. The engine on the guy was just amazing, and the pace of him.
And managing to keep the ball at that pace under control, it was a joy to behold.
Indeed. But yeah, that's a good one, Neil.
Did he sully his legacy by coming back a little bit, Neil?
I don't think so. He helped us out a little bit.
He was all right, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fine. You know, he was obviously a bench player and coming on, but yeah, he did help us out in certain games, and he scored a couple of crackers, didn't he?
Yeah.
He really did.
I think he was just getting himself fit for the Euros, wasn't he? That's what he did. He used Tottenham for that. It was always Wales. It was his
Wales, Madrid, and golf, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Fair, I bet he's good at golf as well. So.
He is good at golf.
Apparently awesome at golf, isn't he? They say if he wasn't a footballer, he'd be a professional golfer.
Well, there you go. Right, my number 8 is also known as God. It's Robbie Fowler of Liverpool and Leeds, I think, and Manchester City.
Played a couple of games for Blackburn as well.
Oh, did he really?
Not like I was like it was something like 5 games. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like he was there. He was one. You know when he did that thing towards the end of his career. Where you look at if you ever look at his career, you're like, what's going on? It's like like India, Australia, like north of England, back to Liverpool, City, Leeds.
I didn't realize he played. But I don't think there's a player I've seen that is as natural a finisher as Robbie Fowler. There's still goals that I look at and I've seen so many times that literally take my breath away.
Yeah.
The 3-minute hat trick against Arsenal. I can remember watching that game live and thinking, oh my God, this is going to be like 7 or 8. And it ended up, I think, being 3-0. I think that was the final score.
You always beat Arsenal.
I know. It's crazy.
Like every time you play Arsenal, always. But it's like when Liverpool always seem to beat Norwich about 6-0 as well. It's just one of those things that always happen. What I appreciate about Robbie Fowler more than anything is that he's a pink facer, and I'm a pink facer. You know, when you run and you go pink, and you think, why is no one else pink? Am I trying harder than everybody else? And then, like, so if I go for a run, if it's hot, I will be pink in the face for hours afterwards. I don't know why, but Robbie Fowler was similar, and I appreciate that, Robbie.
Yeah, but at least he had that little elastoplast on his nose that helped with his breathing, obviously.
Yeah.
You know.
He always looked like a miserable sod until I saw him again on TV and realised that he is a right laugh and still is when you see him to this day. You know, on a lot of the Soccer AM he's been on recently.
He was on the Liverpool Champions League parade the last time that they won it. I went to the parade and he was just on the bus, but not waving, just at the back, like literally like he was on his way to the shops.
Maybe he was.
Yeah, but the person who stood next to me was shouting at him, and he literally sort of went, "Oh, yeah." It was like he just must get it so often.
Oh, fair play to him. But yeah, he's one of my favourite Liverpool players of all time. So he's my number 8. Number 7 for you then, Josh.
Number 7 again. Is this the last one? No, it's not the last one. is Ryan Giggs, because I just think, for me, you think Premier League, maybe not as much anymore, but there was a time when Ryan Giggs was the player that I think I'm most associated with the Premier League. He played in every season. He was just, an incredible player. He did score lots and lots of goals. He's not probably anywhere near the top 10 or whatever. I'm not sure. I haven't got it in front of me, but I just think he was incredible, Ryan Giggs. I mean, as a player, I know there's things I'm not going to touch on been in the press recently, but the fact is, as a footballer, he was incredible. He had pace, skill, hairy chest that time when he took his top off against Arsenal. Couple of good haircuts. He made some of those terrible United kits look still terrible, but not as bad. But I just,
can you remember that
really
advert when he first sort of broke onto the scene? Now, was it a Nike advert where it was him playing with Bobby Charlton and George Best?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that advert?
Don't think so, no, because that would have been quite a while ago, wouldn't it?
No,
So.
I remember that one.
I mean, it was done where it was I think it was black and white. No, it probably been color. But it was like he started the move and he passed to Dennis Law, and then Dennis Law, and they've intercut all these different bits. And the ball, I mean, it's obviously 90s animation. The ball doesn't look particularly
like real,
convincing.
Yeah.
But like the final shot is like, I think Giggs scores, and then George Best has got his arm around him, and Bobby Charlton's sort of like patting him on the head and stuff. But it's Man United, so I didn't really watch it.
And he played until he was like in his early 40s.
I was going to say,
And
the
still
longevity of his career
was
was huge.
If you want to see Ryan Giggs adverts, have you seen the wine one?
No.
Yeah, so there's a wine that sponsors Man United. It's a Spanish wine. I think it translates as Red Devil wine.
Oh right,
obviously, but they did an advert, and it's Rooney, Everett, and Giggs.
Oh my god!
Just YouTube Man United wine advert. Oh my god!
Really?
It's Giggs is actually, of the three of them, the best actor, but it's so bad.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Bad.
I'm gonna have to look for that. Okay, right, Neil, you're number 7.
Jermaine Defoe, another Tottenham player, but also another goal scorer. You said about Robbie Fowler being a natural goal scorer. I think Jermaine Defoe as well always knew where the back of the net was, wherever he was on the pitch. And again, some wonderful goals. And when they destroyed Wigan 9-0 or whatever it was, 9-1, he was instrumental in that. And he was always, even when he came back to us a lot older, I still thought he was a good old stalwart of the bench.
He's lethal, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was.
If he got the ball in the box, it's going in.
Yeah.
Or he was never going to pass. He was going to shoot no matter what.
Absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't even put. He's not a striker. He is a goal scorer.
Yeah,
that is his job. He's not there to beat 5 players, lay it off, and get in the box. He will just aim for the goal, head down, and just shoot when he gets a chance.
And for such a little guy, the power that he could produce was just unreal. I mean, when I did the last time I saw Tottenham, he was playing. That's how long ago it's been since I could see them.
They've got a new ground now.
But it's getting there and they're affording it now. That's the problem, isn't it, in today's game?
And
old men complaining about football.
And with Defoe as well, longevity. Not only was he good for Tottenham and Portsmouth, he was good for Sunderland.
Yeah,
he was okay for Bournemouth even in patches, and probably the best England assist of all time when he had all but scored and Nugent just smashed it in. Took the goal off in 1-for-1. Go on, Dave.
Yeah, that's right. And obviously his work at Rangers as well.
Yeah,
of course.
Is he still there?
So he's still going. He's still going. Yeah.
He must be nearly 40 now.
He's got to be at least.
I would imagine so.
Very, very
that
close.
way. Yeah.
Very, very close. So what was that? That was your number 7. So my number 7 is the one and only Paulo Di Canio. I done my top 10 and then completely forgot about Paulo Di Canio, and I thought for 2 reasons. One, I don't know who it was against, but that one goal, the volley,
the West Ham, where he does the bicycle kick sort of thing, and
just that. And when you see it in slow motion, where you see him preparing himself, the way that he just focuses at the goal, that alone would get you in the top 10. But also the pushing the referee, that is worth. That is, I mean, the amount of times I've watched that and just laughed, just for those 2 things. But he's one of those players. Yes, there's a lot of controversy with him, but but I could watch someone like him or Zidane. I could just watch them play in slow motion all day because there is something beautiful about him. Again, also as much as he gets criticism, that time when he caught the ball because the goalkeeper was in. I heard Harry Redknapp on a podcast saying that he couldn't even talk to him at half time because there was an open goal and but they needed the points, and De Canio did that. He said he was ready to swing for him because he couldn't understand why he would do that. But he won loads of awards.
I would not go near Paulo De Canio in an attempt to fight him.
Exactly.
If you paid me.
Exactly.
He's like a Tasmanian devil.
He is. He is.
He was one of the characters of football. Do you know what I mean by characters? He was a complete character, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Is he still managing at the moment?
So so from what I know about De Canio, he is obviously a very controversial figure.
Yeah.
Mainly because of his political ideology. So I don't know if that's hampered him getting work.
Right.
I'd have to read about it. But I guess like with anything, it's like I mentioned about stuff again, which I won't go into about gigs. Do you separate that from? It's like, do you separate the actor from? Do you still think Jack Nicholson's an amazing actor, even though there's some well-known, pretty shady shit about Jack Nicholson, that sort of thing? I don't know. I think it depends on what you're willing to sort of ignore, I guess.
Exactly. Same with music and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I've never heard Paulo De Canio sing, so I don't know what
he's good. He is good.
Oh, is he good?
Yeah. Yeah, I had him do a cover of My Heart Will Go On once. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful.
I would pay to see that and hear that.
Didn't he just go into our local team? Wasn't he manager of Swindon for a while?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
And then he went to Sunderland, didn't he?
That's right.
Did quite well with Swindon, I believe.
Yeah.
Like relatively speaking, at that level, I think he was that when Swindon were in the Championship.
They were actually.
I think
it was Hoddle that took them up, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got a signed shirt from him for a raffle that I was doing at the time.
Okay.
Which had De Canio's signature on it. But
so when you went and collected it, did he push you over?
He didn't. I didn't.
And then caught you.
And then started singing "My Heart Will Go On."
Two sides to everyone. There's lots of sides to everyone, isn't there?
There is. Yeah. Right then, Josh, you're number 6.
So my number 6, and I'd hope this person might be on everyone's list, but they might not be, depending on what you think. Sergio Aguero.
Yes, he's my number 4.
He just didn't quite get.
Didn't get there. I mean, I could see what he almost. Not that he didn't almost miss out on mine, but he did. He had a lot of periods of injury.
Yeah.
And if you think how much he scored with those injuries, if you think it's a bit like Alan Shearer. He missed about 2 seasons with injuries, and he's still 100 goals ahead of everybody else, or whatever. So, I mean, Aguero, he scored iconic goals. He's probably got the quickest feet of anyone I've seen. A couple of, again, good-looking lad. I mean, who'd have thought he could carry off that grey bleach blonde that he had for a bit? But he did it, didn't he? And he did it while scoring goals. Yeah. So I think what did they get him for? Was from Atletico, it was something like 30 million or something like that, which was a lot which was a lot at the time. But how much would a prime Aguero go for now? You're talking a lot, aren't you? So, and there's of course the famous goal.
That's
Aguero.
That's why he's in my top 10. Again, I'll be sat during my dinner time at work, and I will sit and watch that 10 minutes in the last game.
When they intercut between the Stadium of Light and that game at Loftus Road. To give you an idea of how quickly he scored, I was working in Subway at the time, and I lived literally round the corner. I finished my shift, and Man United were winning the league. I got home, and City had won the league.
Yeah,
and it was like this is insane. Like how quick it is,
crazy. And again, Michael Owen's face was fantastic. He honestly, it's like someone had slapped him with a wet fish. He couldn't understand his little boyish face, couldn't understand what was going on. Alex Ferguson was telling all of them to go and like wave to the fans. And he was going, hang on, boss, I thought we were going to win the league. What's going on? Oh, it was
thinking about all the films he's never seen because he doesn't like films. Who doesn't like films, Michael?
He doesn't like
I don't like not liking food. It's like
I don't know. But yeah, so what have I got here? 184 goals and 275 appearances.
That's pretty impressive.
That's like Messi like, isn't it? That's Messi and Ronaldo like.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in my top 10 for just that Aguero moment.
Just the
because
QPR goal.
what a game. Watching the Soccer Saturday guys and Paul Merson doing and going mad and that as well. It's just fantastic. It's what football is all about.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine as a Man United fan, it's something that you never ever want to see again. But
it's not,
any other football fan.
I'm not being funny. I'm sitting here, maybe Neil will agree with me, although to a slightly lesser extent, but I'm not sitting here listening to a United, Liverpool, City or Arsenal fan moan. Like, you've won so much. Like, shut up. Like, if I ever go into to work or whatever and people are like moaning about Liverpool because they drew 1-1 with someone, I'm like, you have won so much.
Yeah.
Like, my team lost like something like 5-0 to Fulham. We drew 1-1 with Gillingham.
I know what you mean. It's very, in football terms, it's very first world problem, isn't it? It's very It's very, oh Christ, we only won the league like 2 seasons ago. It's just like this drought has got to stop. It's got to stop. Yeah, I totally agree.
I was literally in a conversation the other week, not the other week, the other week being that thing of last year or whatever. and it was a Liverpool and he said something like, God, I hope we win the league. And his phone pinged and he went, oh, Barry, I've gone out of business. And then just carried on working.
Right.
And it was like, so that club literally doesn't exist anymore. And you're sort of a bit downhearted about being third or whatever they were at the time. It's all relative though, isn't it?
It is all
relative.
It's the passion.
It is the passion.
It is. Right, Neil, you had Paul Scholes at number 6.
I did.
I had Steven Gerrard at number 6. Josh, you had Steven Gerrard at number 5.
I did.
Neil had Jurgen Klinsmann at number 5. So I have, might be surprised to have him this low, but I had Mo Salah at number 5.
Okay, he's my number 3.
Oh,
wow.
He's just a player. I find him mesmerizing to watch.
Yeah.
I really do. And
how is it that he's still underrated?
Yeah,
he is still underrated.
Yeah,
he's just unbelievable. I remember when Liverpool bought him for 35 million. It was like, oh, he's good squad depth. Yeah, he'll probably come off the bench, and he just smashes it every season.
He does. And go on, Pat.
I was going to say that first season. I'm not sure how many goals he scored in that first season. But if he'd have taken 50% of the chances that he had, he would have scored double the goals that he scored that season. The amount of chances he was getting in a game that would go wide or he wouldn't hit right. And you were thinking, now, have we got a dud here or is he just finding his eye? He's just finding
his feet.
And that's exactly what he was doing. He was finding his aim. He was finding his range. And then I think he is on par with like Messi at the moment.
I'd say at the moment, I think he's better than Messi.
Yeah.
Not in terms of overall for his whole career, but right now, he is playing better than Messi.
Would you say he's the best player in the world at the moment? Maybe over the last couple of weeks, that's played out a little bit.
That's a really difficult conversation, isn't it? Because it's that whole thing of, well, is this player the best player in the world? Or if you took him and put them in like Rovers' squad, is Alisson, Edison, one of those two? Are they the best keepers in the Premier League? Or if you took them and put them at Norwich, would they be fine? It's impossible to say because it's all, everything is as it is. But I would say at the moment, he's definitely in the conversation, if not up there, isn't he?
It's got to be, because I always thought he'd be one of those players. You just said that, but to me, Mo Salah would find his way in any team. I think he's just got that sort of talent. And when you look at the way, I just love watching his footwork. I really do when I see him play. It's just a dream to behold.
He is. He
could do with putting some hours into the gym, though, couldn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like them abs. I could barely see them, Mo.
Yeah, like we're in any position to have a go at his abs.
I've got one. It's just rather large, but it's an ab.
Yeah, I've got one that just like hangs over my belt.
I've seen it.
Put a lot of work into that.
Yeah, it's there. It's just shy.
It's there. Yeah. Oh my lord. Right then, Josh, you're number 4.
So my number 4 is Wayne Rooney, because I don't think enough respect gets put on Wayne Rooney's name. The fact that he is, still at this time, England's top ever goal scorer, Man United's top ever goal scorer. He burst onto the scene when he was basically a sperm. He was so young. And, you know, again, I know there's controversies and I know his form fell off towards the end of his career, but for a period, he was one of the best, if not the best striker in the world for me.
Yeah.
For a period of a couple of years, he was just, and you remember, you know, again, iconic goals, the City goal. I mean, I know you don't like Man United, but that goal.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know he shins it. Everyone says he shins it, but, you know, the guy's in the middle of the air on his back doing that. The Arsenal goal, you know, the one where that was the goal where it was like, this is Wayne Rooney for Everton. And I don't think he's ever up there with like the best ever players in the Premier League, but I think he should be. I just think he was unbelievable.
208 goals overall. That's not bad going, is it? Second highest Premier League goal scorer.
Yeah. Is he in either of yours?
He isn't.
Oh wow.
He isn't. No. But I think that does prove the point of what you're saying in regards to, I don't think he's thought of as one of the greatest players to play in the Premier League.
You know, Mo Salah's not in mine, but I bet if we recorded this in 5 years, he would be.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of personal stuff with Wayne Rooney and his wife has detracted from what a great footballer he was. And I always think he dipped when he had his hair done.
Samson.
Samson. I genuinely do. I think his form went down. I think he was more worried about.
He never wanted to head the ball, did he? He never wanted to head the ball in case the plugs came out.
Exactly.
So
his game went when he had his hair done, and it didn't last. So more fool him.
Wow.
And to be fair to him, he's coping quite well with an absolutely horrendous situation at Derby.
Yeah. Isn't it just horrendous?
I mean, awful. You know, clubs should not be allowed to get to that stage. No. You know, these are, you know, the pieces of history. You know, it does, you know, anger me that Bury were allowed to go out of business when you got United and City and neither of them did anything. Tranmere were really struggling, and I didn't see Liverpool or Everton offering to step in. You know, and I know I'm only saying that because they're local to those smaller clubs, but I mean, come on, if you can find whatever it was, $100,000 for the Premier League chief to retire, well, you can help Bury. It's minuscule what they actually need, and they've been allowed to go out of business. Same with it. I get them mixed up. Either Macclesfield or Mansfield, one of those two. They've gone out of business as well, haven't they? And
Macclesfield.
Macclesfield Town, is it?
They've now come back as Macclesfield FC, and that's the one that Robbie Savage is involved in.
Oh, of course, the TV thing. Yeah. But it's, you know, it is a real shame that clubs like that are allowed. And you know, I know a lot of people support clubs in the Premier League, and they, you know, don't seem to care if it doesn't affect their club. But I do, you know, I think that's a shame because we're talking about pieces of history, really.
Yeah.
You know, for a club like Derby.
Yeah, but it's old-fashioned values, which again, the young supporter now, like you said, they don't think of football even existing before 1992.
It's a FIFA game now, isn't it?
It is a FIFA game. That's exactly what it is.
It's all disposable. It's all tokens. You know, who are we going to sign? It's like, what do you mean? Who are you going to sign? Like, every club, particularly in more metropolitan areas, have got so many players they could choose from. You know, that's why I respect Klopp so much, because he's made players out of Trent, and he's trying to do it with Curtis Jones and other ones. And that happened. Ferguson did the same at United back in the day. And it's almost like, I'm not to get off on a tangent here, but it's like I just feel like the rules need looking at in terms of players from that local area or British players or whatever you want to call it, in terms of, you know, getting them into the teams or getting them game time. But money talks, doesn't it? And most clubs' primary objective is either finishing higher up, avoiding relegation, and it all comes down to money.
Yeah. Well, that's the politics to sort it out.
Yeah.
That's all in
Top
one
10
go.
problems with football. Right?
Oh my God. We'd be here forever.
Ticket prices. You can't drink on the terraces.
You're starting to sound like an old fart like us, mate.
Yeah.
Right then, Neil, you're number 4.
Teddy Sheringham.
Wow.
Yeah, he went to my number 4. I was going to Tottenham a lot more then to watch the team play and everything. It was my time in the 90s where I had nothing to worry about and go and be able to go out there most weekends. And he was obviously a big advocate and big player of the team at that time. And I mean, just look at his goals, 146 in his career. So he's just out of the top 10. But again, longevity of his career. I mean, from Tottenham to United, I think he did well. Went back to Tottenham, didn't he? After United, I'm not sure where he went after.
Was it Sheringham who played until he played against his own son?
I'm not sure.
It might have been. Yeah,
Could
so
well have been.
he played. It was in a lower division, but I think Teddy
Didn't he go to
Sheringham.
Portsmouth? Didn't he?
Yeah, and I think he played until
Didn't
his
he?
son
West Ham as well. He went to.
went to West Ham. Yeah, he went.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a journeyman at points, wasn't he, towards him? But again, iconic goals, that Champions League goal.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone remembers the Solskjaer one, but if without Teddy's, there's no Ollies. So
No, that's true.
yeah.
And he was. I just think another, like Puff said of Jermaine Defoe, another natural goal scorer.
Yeah.
He just seemed to know where the back of the net was and the way he went.
He's not in my list, but I think it's similar to. I don't really have many memories of Sheringham. If I did, he'd definitely be in there. But there's so many players you could pick from, isn't there?
There is. But like I said, he's very high up because he's the player I remember watching a lot live and seeing. So yeah, I've got a soft spot for him.
Okay, well, my number 4 was Aguero. I almost sounded like Partridge then. Josh, your number 3.
My number 3 is Eric Cantona. He was probably the first superstar in the Premier League, in terms of his fame. A career again dogged by controversy. Retired when he literally got bored of the game. Did either of you watch that documentary last year, Fever Pitch?
No.
It was interesting. It was 6-part, and it was about the rise of the Premier League, how it actually became. Because it was quite interesting to look at it in the sort of shadow of the European League thing,
Right.
Because it was essentially pretty much the same, but on a smaller scale because it was in this country, not all of Europe. But yeah, Cantona. I mean, you think about some of those goals he scored. The one with the famous celebration where he turns round, kicking a fan.
Oh yeah, the jump kick.
Yeah, I mean, he was eccentric. He was flamboyant. He was a superstar.
He was.
He was a superstar.
Really good at football, and all he ever wanted to be was an actor.
Yeah, to be fair, he's in Elizabeth, the Kate Blanchett film, and I can't think of anything else that he's in.
He did the Ken Loach. Was it Ken Loach?
Looking for Eric.
Yeah,
for Eric. Yeah, he's in
that one.
Is that acting or is he just playing himself?
I think he's acting.
He does lots of adverts and stuff. And did a Liam Gallagher video, which I think was
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that when he played, I hated him. The goal that he scored against us in the '96 Cup final when we had the cream suits.
Yeah,
I still look at it
Boys.
now. Yeah, still look at it now and wonder how it got through all the Liverpool players because it wasn't a particularly good shot.
No,
and it just sort of seemed to just creep in. But over the last few years, when I've watched him on TV and stuff, I've tended to sort of fallen in love with him a little bit. I like his whole image and the fact he looks like this very gruff kind of guy, but he's got a good sense of humor to him, I think.
I don't think he takes himself particularly seriously.
I don't think he does.
He can't have done with that press conference, can he?
The seagulls one.
Following the trawler and all that.
Yeah.
But I think he's almost built up a bit of a caricature of himself, like now, this gruff sort of bit of a moody, but it just seems to me like he's got that little twinkle of a great sense of humor. I think you could go and have a beer with him and it'd be quite a good, fun night.
I bet he could still do it. I bet he's the sort of player that if you're playing 5-a-side and he came down, you'd be like, oh, here he is. Go on. Old Eric still got it, and then he quits 10 minutes later. And you're going, Jesus Christ! How did he keep doing this?
Yeah, he wouldn't need to run around, would he?
No.
He wouldn't need to. His touch, he'd be like Hullet when Ruud Hullet moved to the back, and it looks like he's got like
Hoddle. When Hoddle was he either at Spurs or England, and apparently they had to say to him, "You've got to stop just showing the players what you're doing."
Right.
So he was Hoddle. I think it might not have even been Spurs or England, but he was managing a team, and it was just after he retired, or he might have even been. That's
probably Swindon. It's probably Swindon.
Might have been Swindon.
It was,
and he was better than all the players.
Yeah, that would have been Swindon then.
And it was like he was going, "Why aren't you doing it like I'm doing?" And it was like, "Because you're better than us."
Yeah,
like you're too good. And I think some players. They just don't lose it. It's like if you ever watch Soccer Aid, some of them, it's like Yap Stam. He's just still an absolute monster.
Yeah.
He still looks like he'd get in a team now and just defend and head out crosses all day.
Yeah,
without
and
any
then they
problem.
bring on Maradona, don't they?
Yeah,
in one of them, and he doesn't move.
Yeah, he just sort of put it on
Walks
my
around.
feet, and I will. Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have put him in my top 10, but he's United. So I just can't. It will
You're missing
always
quite a few players.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
I think if there's any, it would be there's another one that I'll say in my honourable mentions that will that I would have put in, but anyway.
Jemba.
Yeah. So good they named him twice.
Yep.
Right, Neil, you had Mo Salah at your number 3. My number 3, another controversial figure, is Luis Suarez.
Yeah, he's in my honourable mentions.
I love watching the videos of just his goals because there's no two goals that were the same. He would shoot from 35 yards. He would dink the ball over Colaccini, I think it was, of Newcastle, from 18 inches away and score the goal. The guy, I've always said, the plan that they had apparently that summer was that Suarez would come in to play alongside Fernando Torres. But Torres got the hump and then moved to Chelsea, and then we bought Andy Carroll. If Torres had stayed, we would have won the league that year.
Yeah.
The fact that you could have had Torres and Suarez up front.
I mean, Suarez was just again, he's controversial, but he's incredible. He was incredible. He still is incredible. I mean, he's not got the legs he had, but when he had those legs, he ran. I don't know if it's a Uruguayan thing because Cavani's the same. Apparently, there's a real ethic of hard work.
Yeah.
When must be the way that they're trained or the way they're brought up, and it's that never say die attitude. I mean, did you ever see any of the games that Barcelona play behind closed doors because of what was going on in Catalonia at the time? So this is a game, and it's when Messi and Suarez and Neymar are the front three, and Suarez is playing, and he shouts at himself the way that you hear people do at the park.
Right.
He misses a chance. He's like, going, "Come on, Louis, come on!" like to himself, and he shouts at Messi. It's like, "Why don't you pass to me? I was open." And it's like, they're just like us.
Yeah.
Like except they're millionaires.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Suarez was. He's up there. He's similar to other players. He's much better than, but like Diego Costa. Like you hate them, but you'd have them on your team.
Yeah.
You'd rather have them with you than against you.
Yeah, it was the World Cup before, wasn't it, where he handled the ball for Uruguay
2010 against Ghana.
Yeah, and got sent off. And again, I said earlier on, that epitomizes what I hate about football. He was a cheat. And I hated him because he was stood in the tunnel, wasn't he? And then they missed the penalty and he was celebrating like mad because Uruguay had won the game. As soon as he started playing for us, what an absolute genius. He's an idol. But, and I think it was another Uruguay game, didn't he try and bite an Italian player?
No, he did bite.
He did bite. And then he pretended that he'd hurt his teeth. And I thought,
he bit Chiellini. He came back, was suspended for Liverpool's game. And then another time, did he not bite Ivanovic?
Something like that. Yeah. And then he also, obviously, the whole thing with Evra, which was,
I mean, I'm not even going to defend him on that. That was
there was
poor. It was poor.
Again, there's no defense for any of that.
The t-shirts, all that. It was just a badly thought out strategy.
It was embarrassing as a fan of Liverpool. It was embarrassing.
I don't think I've ever met a Liverpool fan who defended it.
There's nothing to defend.
It was a badly thought out strategy.
Yeah, there was nothing to defend.
Him in the arse,
and the trouble that you had was that you were trying to find an angle to support, but there was nothing. You had nothing.
Got nothing. Yeah, you got nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But to say that he was an absolute genius. An absolute genius scoring goals.
He was so good that he made Daniel Sturridge look like the second best striker in the league.
Exactly.
Not that Sturridge was good, but Suarez made him look better.
Yeah, it was just I wish he'd stayed, or but again at that time you got a chance to play with Neymar and Messi. You're gonna go. So.
And he'd have been better than Remy Malek as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody.
He would have been. He would have been.
Is he any good at singing? No.
I don't know.
Him and De Canio doing.
Oh my God!
Under pressure.
Under pressure. Oh dear. Right then. So number 2, Josh, your number 2 was Thierry Henry.
Vavavoom.
Vavavoom indeed. Neil, what's your number 2?
It's going to be Alan Shearer. You just can't take away what he achieved to me in the Premier League. 260 goals. That's well, I mean, we're still 52 goals off of it by number 2, you know. And yeah, not overall the best footballer to watch, you know, as style and skill, but yeah, to keep getting those goals, he must have been doing something completely right. And what a joy to have the biggest Premier League goal scorer to be a British guy.
Yeah.
It's just nice, isn't it? It's just a nice sort of fitting thing. But yeah, I do like Alan Shearer.
You're talking about good finishes. He's got to be the best, right?
He must be.
He's definitely up there.
The statistics show that he is so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not a bad pundit either, is he? Really?
No, I like. I like Shearer. I mean, obviously, I've got a lot of affection for Alan Shearer. You know, he essentially pretty much won us the league.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's incredible.
He
but I should say he's my number 1.
Yeah,
right.
He is my number 1.
He pundits like he plays, like really honestly. There's no bullshit with Alan Shearer, and he is like the quintessential English number 9.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter which club he played for, he was always going to score goals. But he's one of these guys that can create a goal out of nothing. He's one of those guys that it looks like he's going down a blind alley, and then he'll just unleash like a 30-yard shot or a 25-yard shot that'll just scream into the back of the net.
There are some players, aren't there, who obviously I know he's not been retired that long, relatively speaking, but who people talk about and they reminisce about how good they were. And you think, you know, the way people talk about like Bobby Moore, you think, well, would he get in a team now?
Yeah.
You took Bobby Moore at his peak, put him in a team now. I don't know, because I think a lot of players, you know, the fitness of the players now is just another level compared to, I'm not saying Bobby Moore wasn't amazing, but he's very much, you know, of his time.
Yeah.
For me, I think Shearer at this point anyway is timeless.
Yeah,
I think he'd get in a team now and still score a hatful of goals.
Yeah,
but he's sort of, it's a quiet hero, isn't it? Because you don't really read or see many people singing his praise. I know he brings it up, and Gary Lineker takes the piss out of him with Match of the Day, and they're always bantering like that. But you don't sort of, when you get or see like a Premier League's All Stars album, he'll be in there, but he's never on the front, or he's never where he should be, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he gets his just desserts.
But could you imagine at this point in time, he would walk into Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Chelsea's team without a doubt.
Right,
Yeah, like you said, Josh, he would score. Imagine if he was Manchester City's number 9, the amount of goals that he would score.
Yeah.
You know, triple figures or something, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, it would be insane. And it'd be like everyone at the start of the season said, right, okay, well, we'll just play for second. We'll give you the trophy now, Man City, and you just go off and have fun, and we'll just play the rest of the league.
Penalties, free kicks. He was a good captain.
Yeah.
You know, he was a good representative. You know, he was very good, you know, good representative of the game.
I remember Euro 96. I mean,
exactly.
The partnership with Sheringham there, and everything worked, didn't it?
Yeah.
But a great player.
So my number 2 is Thierry Henry. Before we do go through our number 1s, Josh, do you want to just give us your rundown from 10 to 2?
Yeah, so I've got Yakubu at 10, Jamie Vardy at 9, Paul Scholes at 8, Ryan Giggs at 7, Sergio Aguero at 6, Steven Gerrard at 5, Wayne Rooney at 4, Eric Cantona at 3, and Thierry Henry at 2.
Right, Neil, do yours.
Okay, at number 10, Thierry Henry. Number 9, Steven Gerrard. Number 8, Gareth Bale. Number 7, Jermaine Defoe. Number 6, Paul Scholes. Number 5, Jurgen Klinsmann. Number 4, Teddy Sheringham. Number 3, Mo Salah. And number 2, Alan Shearer.
Okay, and mine was number 10, Jurgen Klinsmann. 9, Harry Kane. 8, Robbie Fowler. 7, they're all singing, Paulo Di Canio. 6, Steven Gerrard. 5, Mo Salah. 4, Sergio Aguero. 3, Luis Suarez, and 2, Thierry Henry. You've already given us your number 1, Josh.
Sorry, you said, didn't you? Don't do that.
That's fine. That's fine.
He wanted
So
to join in the conversation.
Yeah, so your number one is, of course, Alan
Yeah.
Shearer. Yeah, so your number one is, of course, Alan
It
Shearer.
is Alan Shearer.
Yeah.
For me, as I've already said, unbelievable player, top goal scorer, by a mile. I think it's almost, as much as I've said it's not about how many goals he scored, I almost think it's inarguable that he should be one. I mean, I'd be interested to see who Neil's put as one. It could be an interesting discussion. But it's like if you ever do your top, your best first 11 of all time for Shearer for the Premier League, I think Shearer, if he's not in if you're playing a 4-4-2 and he's not one of your strikers, I just think, yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I know that sounds. Your opinion is wrong. I know it sounds ridiculous, but
I will say he's my number one as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's just for sheer consistency. Oh, sheerer consistency.
Hey.
Look at that. Oh my God. Hang on. Wait. I'll have that one. I don't think there's anybody else that can, as much as I'm a Liverpool fan, I don't think there's anybody else that can compare to Alan Shearer as the number one Premier League goal scorer. Neil,
he was my number one. He was my number one for ages, but I've put Harry Kane because he's breathed a bit of life back into me at Tottenham. Having a goal scorer like that, not so much this current season, although over the Christmas period he had a banger. It was just
I just got that. Oh dear.
Striker!
But I just, it's people that I thought that I would want in my team. Obviously, Alan Shearer, and he was my number one for ages. But like I said, I changed to Harry Kane because he's given me over the last few seasons before that a bit of excitement back into watching Tottenham. And it's hard for guys like Pav to know for a few years being in Liverpool to remember that, where you start to dwindle away from your own team, thinking, oh well. Oof. But yeah, he did do it. And the partnership he had with Son, I still think when they were on fire, is the best partnership in the Premier League. I really do. And I hope it comes back.
Okay, but so how gutted were you when January the 1st he signed for Man City? You must be absolutely gutted with that.
It's not going to happen that season, is it? Yeah, but yeah.
Do you think he's going to break Alan Shearer's record?
I don't know. He could. I don't think he will, but he could. He's on target.
How old is he? How old is Harry Kane?
I think he's almost 30, isn't he?
Is he? I think he's 27.
Maybe he is. Maybe he is. Maybe he is.
27. 167 goals so far.
Yeah,
in his career,
so
he's still got 100
strong.
Yeah, he's still got 100 to go. So
so if he scores 30 a season in the Prem,
So whether Conte can refine his form, refine his form, and whether all that debacle about him going to Man City has really ruined it, I don't know. But I'm going back to what I was enjoying before all that shite was brought up, and it really did make me excited again to watch, because I thought we've got a genuine, real good goal scorer that can hopefully create us opportunities. And it didn't. I mean, why he started on the Champions League, and we can go into all of that, is a thing. But yeah, he just pipped it for me because I thought I'm going to be loyal to my own team.
I suppose I have as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous way of doing a top 10.
Yeah.
Being loyal to your team when I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Liverpool players in mind. But there you go.
You're trying to make a case for like Voronin.
Oh my God.
He should be in there.
No, you definitely. If you're doing best hair of the Premier League, then maybe with his flowing,
best footballer that looks like a James Bond villain,
flowing locks. Yeah. That's the only time Voronin is going to be in the top 10.
Best long blonde hair,
or top 10 forgotten Liverpool transfers. Maybe him. Igor Biscan, maybe another one.
Aquilani.
Oh my God, Aquilani. Oh, those were the days. Anyway, right. Let's do some of the honourable mentions that we had through. Now, so happy to say, the wonderful Ed Draper from Sky Sports News messaged and said Van Nistelrooy. Yeah, which he's another one. See, now he's somebody. He was a machine. He was a machine. I mean, a lot of them weren't. They were poaching goals. But the amount of goals that he sred were...
Well, that's his job, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, he was incredible. Was Nistelrooy? Van
I
Nistelrooy.
always wish he'd headbutted Keown though when he went right up in his face.
The penalty thing.
Yeah, I always wish he just.
He did the
twatted
right
him.
thing though. He just stood there, didn't he? Keown
Yeah.
was the one that looked like a dick.
And he's
I mean, he
still is a
genuinely,
dick.
yeah. Anyway, all right, calm.
And he-
Calm down. And from Sky Sports News, we have Tom White who messaged us and said Aguero. So that's our two Sky Sports News friends. At Robert Pattinson Photography on Instagram said, I'm a bit biased at this one, but Kevin Phillips is up there on mine. He's the only Englishman to win the European Golden Boot when he scored 30 for Sunderland in the 99-2000 season. Again, a great finisher, and it's somebody that had like different kinds of goals. It wasn't just one type of goal.
Phillips was brilliant.
Mm.
Thought you were going to say that they were going to say Robert Pattinson.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know for me. I don't think he gets in many top 10 Premier League goal scorers. But he is versatile. So
I mean, he is. He is.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Phillips he had that season, didn't he, where he was just unplayable.
Yeah, absolutely. We also had Sam said Cantona, Ibrahimovic, Rooney. Guess who I support? He says. That was one.
Ibrahimovic.
The thing is, now I hated the fact that he moved to United because I love Ibrahimovic. He is an absolute beast, but he backs it up, and all of the things where he talks about himself in the third person, but he backs it up with skill and with amazing goals, and he's one of those guys that like you just have to be in awe of him.
Yeah,
but he looks like a beast. You wouldn't want to tangle with that guy.
No. He's got a face and a head that is the same shape of his neck, and he's like a thumb.
Yeah.
I remember the England versus Sweden game. He just took England apart in the second half, like on his own, pretty much. He just took us apart.
Oh, unbelievable! But again, he's a United player, so I can't go 100% in there. So, Josh, you said you had some honourable mentions.
Yeah, a couple that we've mentioned already in terms of Van Nistelrooy. I would say Ian Wright is one.
Yeah.
So I've got quite a few here, so I'll just reel them off.
Yeah, go on then.
So, Les Ferdinand, Jermaine Defoe, Dwight York, Andrew Cole, Chris Sutton, for obvious reasons, Mo Salah, Robbie Fowler, David Beckham, Dennis Bergkamp, Peter Crouch, Didier Drogba, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Romelu Lukaku, and then I've gone with my heart and said Benny McCarthy and Roque Santa Cruz.
Of course,
they were very good for Rovers, and I just put him in this list, this chap, because I just remember that absolutely insane season he had. But me too.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So I mean, there's more. I could go on, like I say, Ian Wright. There's loads of them. Harry Kane as well. Yeah, incredible. But I think, I mean, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's in there. You forget how many goals he scored.
Yeah.
Drogba. Andrew Cole and Dwight York together.
Yeah. I was very close because it would have been in on a technicality because he played in the Premier League, but like Ian Rush.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it would have been his last couple of seasons, or probably maybe even the last. I think he played for Leeds after Liverpool, maybe, didn't he? I think. But the goals that he scored for Liverpool, I just thought it was a bit unfair because like the majority of his games were in the 80s and his career was finishing. But in a technicality, I could have put him in there. But
you could say Lineker in the same breath.
Exactly. Hoddle.
Exactly. Yeah, there are so many players that it just would have tops and tailed with the Premier League. But yeah, I think that's very good. I think we've got some good ones. I mean, Neil's number one. I'm not quite. That's the nearest we've had to everybody having the same number one.
I thought we might have done to be
honest. It nearly was, but I just had to.
Neil fucked it up again. It's Ecto 1 all over again.
Oh dear!
I'm never
I should
let
you
that
write
go.
my top tens, pal.
That's the closest.
Where was Shearer on your list? Second.
He was
second. He was first for ages. But no,
that is the
I can't be loyal to my club.
Well, the heart wants what the heart wants, Neil.
Yeah,
that's right. Even though it might be wrong, it's the way it is. But Neil, I respect you for your decisions. Anyway. So everything all good at the Just Films on that pod?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, just cracking on. Still releasing episodes every Tuesday, covering underrated and underseen films. I've got a couple of crackers that I've picked for the new year. So depending on when this has gone out, what have we got coming up? The Beach.
Right.
That's The Beach. And I have picked, and I'm very excited for this one to come out. It's going to split people, but I've picked Green Lantern.
Okay.
Because I think that it's flawed, but not as bad as everyone says it is.
Right. Okay.
That might have already come out. I can't recall which order they come out in, but yeah. And then obviously try and get loads more guests where we can, and I'm sure you get yourselves will come back on again at some point.
Oh, we'd love to.
So
that was a lot of fun.
It was, and so yeah, everything ticking away. Yeah, check us out just on all the social medias as you do.
Well, we'll put the link in the show notes as normal. So just click on the link and please have a listen because it's an excellent podcast.
Thank you very much.
So that's it, I think. Neil, go into your Neil. We've been away for so long because of Christmas. I completely forgot about it.
We're all full of turkey and
I know.
stuffing.
Yeah.
So
you like
you
that
can find
stuff
us.
in, don't you? You like that stuff in, yay.
You can find us on all the social media.
Sorry, Neil. I couldn't resist.
You can find us on all the social medias at Top 10 Pods. You can email us at toptenpods@hotmail.com. You can support the podcast at patreon.com/Top 10 Pods, where you can get all sorts of rewards, including being on an episode yourself. Check out all the links via Linktree. You can find the link in the show notes. And please come and subscribe. Leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts, or subscribe and follow on Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever the damn hell you get your podcast from.
Beautifully done. Well done. So once again, Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2022. Let's hope this year is better than last year and better than the year before that. Please come and do all the things Neil just said. Josh, thanks ever so much for joining us. That was loads of fun.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you very much for having me on as ever. It's just a pleasure.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Neil.
Thank you very much, Pav.
Thank you. Now let's go and start the countdown.
10.